during your presidency, one of the things that you helped create, and I know some people know about it, but I think there is still a big group of people that don't know about it. Is you helped create the Health.Moves.Minds program, and and I know there's a lot of great health lessons with it, but again, I think what's happened is there are still people that don't know what it is. So if you could take a minute and just kind of give our listeners an update of what is Health.Moves.Minds and how could they access the lessons and get involved?
Yeah. And I will correct something from the beginning. I would love to be given credit to being co-creator of Health.Moves.Minds, but there's a whole lot more brilliant minds at Shape America and throughout our community that actually created the program. I just happened to be sitting in the captain's chair when all came about as president-elect and then president. So when I was elected in Nashville as president-elect, one of the initial conversations that we started immediately was our long-standing partnership with the American Heart Association. We'd been in that partnership for 39 years with Jump Rope for Heart. And as a state executive director, it was an important time to have an executive director on the executive committee for Shape America because my state association, as other state associations, live, breathe, and die those joint partnerships, those joint projects. And so with Heart Association, the problem became for so long with No Child Left Behind and other areas, our schools and our teachers weren't getting the funding they needed. And we continue to be minimized and marginalized. And so when it came to fundraising, the American Heart Association is a wonderful organization and is a great national nonprofit that does a lot in communities and across states, and they're strong advocates for health and PE, and they have relationship managers in every state that work on state policy. But when it came to the school programming piece, we need to fundamentally change. And that was the part I got to help influence. And my simple belief with the fundraising component was if we're going to ask teachers to do the most work, they should be the ones to get the most back. And that should be true of any fundraiser program. And so that's what I'm most proud of with Health.Moves.Minds is with our national partnership with Gopher and their product line that schools can get up to 60% back while also supporting the state association and the national association. There is no other program out there that can say that. We'll give the school the most back while also supporting the state and national association. So that's one aspect of Health.Moves.Minds. The other part that I think is critically important that became even more important, we were ahead of our time because now the SEL component, the social emotional learning, taught through traditional PE activities, the parachute and teaching things that we do in PE anyway, but it naturally integrates a deeper dive into SEL. And, as you all know, SEL is such a huge thing in schools now, and even more so as we talk about trauma-informed. So it really is the right place at the right time. So it's while COVID has made implementing the program challenging because we're not in person and we've had to do virtual and you have the whole economy issue, it really is a free curriculum, no strings attached for any school in this country. And I'm just really excited about what the future holds as more and more people get their hands on it and experience it in different ways.
So what's great about this, and you said it, and you've hit a lot of really good points in here, right, is one that it's free, because as a elementary PE teacher, I think what happens, and it happens often, especially where we are, is we're funded for PE when the school opens up, and then we're never funded again. We're never given, or we're given very little. And we have to do things like Jump Rope for Heart to earn a gift certificate to even try and get some things. But how much you earn versus how much you get back, and granted, it's a great thing. You're still doing it for a great cause. But as a PE teacher, had this come around where I can get half of the fundraising back, because we're often put up against things in the school. And, I had the chance to teach in an affluent school. I hated always asking our parents for money. It was like, it's somewhere it's got to stop. But at the same point, knowing that I was going to get more back from my program, then I don't have to ask them for program needs because I can do it another way.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest ends is like, because schools get so much back now, they can be very specific in what their kids are going to see and do. Our number one school last year she doubled up what she thought was going to happen because they were wanting to build a climbing wall. And so the kids really got behind that because that's something they never would have been able to afford or access. And even she was a 10-year teacher, and she said, in 10 years of teaching, I got more PD funds and more program dollars than I've had in my entire career combined this year through this program. So it was kind of a no-brainer. And there's some great stories out there about the program and about the impact on the curriculum and the critical conversations that are having with kids. So I believe so. One of the things I got to do is I got to travel around and during my years as president-elect and president and see this thing launch. And the amazing thing that I always saw in it is how it elevated the health and PE teacher. It elevated their standing to the administrator. It elevated their standing within their state association. It just lives, breathes leadership for the teacher. And that's kind of what led me to the tattoo. So I'm the only person in America that has 2 Health.Moves.Minds tattoo with a 3rd one coming. So we did some fun challenges, and that's how much I believe in the program. Is, I joke with my daughter's just turned 13. No, I'm sorry, my daughter's 15. But when this started, she was 13, and then a year ago I got the first tattoo in Missouri, and they won the first challenge. And my daughter, I don't have any tattoos. It's my first tattoo I've ever had. And I came home with it, and my daughter was like, "What's wrong with you, Dad? Like, that's so weird. You got the same. Like, I just did the symbol." And I was like, "Hannah, one day you're going to be sitting at the dinner table," because we were sitting at the dinner table, and your kids are going to bring a packet home that has Health.Moves.Minds on it, and you're going to see your dad's tattoo and go, "Wait a minute, I remember way back when." So I hope one day that comes to fruition. But it was fun, and we're going to do the 3rd tattoo this July in Kentucky. So